All right, Get Rich Crew, get excited. We have got an all-star with us in the studio today. And let me give y'all a little background real quick. So I went to like my very first mastermind. Y'all know I don't like to leave Miami, so I ain't going to nothing if it's not in my neighborhood. But my triple OG, Tommy Traffic, was having his mastermind in Miami. So, of course, I had to pull up. Like, could not miss that. You guys know he was back on, I think, episode like 55. I'll link it in the show notes. And in the room, there's one person who I've never seen before who all of the hosts keep referencing. Like, in the front row, by name. I'm like, who the hell is this? So I had to figure out who the teacher's pet was. And it is none other than Marquell Russell. Welcome to the show, my G.
Thank you for having me. The teacher's pet. I don't think I'm ever outgrow that, huh?
Listen, because it's real. You got all of these brilliant brothers, like literally the goats of the industry, standing on the stage, but they all shouting you out constantly. So I said, nope, we getting to the bottom of this. I don't know who you are, but we finna be BFF. What's good?
For sure. I'm glad you have me. Appreciate you. I definitely rock with you heavy. So I'm glad. I'm blessed to be here.
Amen. Won't he do it? And I really want to mitigate you guys' expectations real quick, Get Rich Crew, because right before this interview, Marquell just hopped off of Entrepreneurs on Fire, which is like the top freaking podcast for entrepreneurs. So if you don't know this man, get excited. You are about to get put on and blessed. I didn't know because I never leave my house, but apparently in Atlanta, this is the man with the plan. He is about to teach us how to make a bunch of money. Let's get into it. So for those who don't know you, can you give us a little bit of intro, a little bit of backstory of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, let me say this. So Get Rich Crew, is that a t-shirt already? I need a t-shirt. Is that a t-shirt
Obviously,
already?
Honey, we got a whole merch line. Say less.
Okay, I gotta get one of them. All right,
Send
perfect.
the address.
Say less. I got you. So perfect. So yeah. So Marquell Russell. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Atlanta, like outside, right? Like
we can tell. It's in the accent.
Yeah. You can tell, huh? So yeah, I used to be outside. So I dropped out of high school in 10th grade. Where I'm from, like, ain't nobody had no money, right? So everybody like worked jobs or just didn't have no money. And we grew up like when EBT was like paper, like it was like a booklet. So you tear it off and then go to the store. Now it's a card, so you can kind of get away with going through swiping EBT card. Nobody don't know. Back in the day, you couldn't get away with it. It was obvious when you put the booklet out. So I grew up in that, and I just wanted the opposite of what I saw. So everybody around me was broke. I wanted to be rich. The only people who I knew who had money were selling drugs, right? My cousins. So I jumped out in the street, started selling drugs, got pretty good at it relatively, or whatever that looks like. I dropped out of school in 10th grade because none of it started to make sense to me anymore. I was driving to school in 10th grade. I was giving more money than my teacher. So I was like, Algebra 2 wasn't really showing me.
It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't see how this is going to make sense for me later on. So I stopped going. I used to smoke a lot of weed, all that. So I used to be like, you know what? I'm going to go smoke me one, then I'll decide if I'm going to come back. Obviously, I never decided to come back. And then at 19, I had my first son, who actually just turned 18. Well, not just turned 18. He actually just graduated high school this past weekend.
That's a grown man.
Yeah, exactly. So I had him when I was in jail. The first time I met him was in visitation. Right. So when I was in there, my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. And that was like the norm. But I was like, I wanted different for my kids. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna do the job thing. I got out, got a job, changing oil and tires on big 18-wheelers. I did that for like 2 weeks. I was covered in oil every day.
Because I was used to being,
I was used to being fly, and it was like the oil wouldn't come out my skin. And I was like, I can't do this. And I got paid $8 an hour. They made $300 an hour on the work that I do. I was like, that's pimping where I'm from. So I'm like, I'm good. So I went back in the streets, jumped back. That's what I knew best. I took the money that I was making and I started an entertainment company. So I started doing artist management, club promotions, that type of thing. And it worked out because I knew a lot of people. So I was moving. I can kind of do what I was doing while doing that. So it like worked out, right? So while I was in the club one night, I actually get introduced to network marketing. He didn't call it network marketing. So network marketing, for those who don't know what that is those business models when they say, hey, if you recruit 2 people and they'll recruit 2 people, and they'll get 2 people, and they'll get 2 people, and you're
Got
making
it.
millions.
Mhm.
So I got sucked into one of those, and it actually changed the game for me. I didn't make a ton of money, but it introduced me to personal development, and it introduced me to online marketing. So I went into that, and I was like, man, I'm from a different world. I'm like, if you can survive that, you can survive this legit business stuff is easy. So I jumped in it, and they were showing me the game plan, and then I stumbled across online marketing because none of my homies wanted no action. I'm like, look, I just learned about this thing. They talking about this, and they like, nah, bro, I'm good. You know, that's
Because they
a
wanted to
pyramid
stay in the
scheme.
streets and you wanted to get out.
100%.
Got you.
Exactly. So I went through that whole process, got introduced to online marketing, bought a whole bunch of courses. At this time, it wasn't I ain't see no black people doing what I was doing. It was old white guys. And I was like, dang, is any people gonna listen to me? So I jumped into it, started moving around a little bit, just buying a whole bunch of courses. I'm like, man, these white boys teaching everything in the courses for a few hundred. So I was taking all my money that I had stacked up, and then I was buying all these courses. And I literally went broke while I was doing that because I wasn't implementing anything. So
you were
if y'all
investing in courses, you were learning the information, but you weren't putting it into action.
I was consuming the information. So now I
And
made the
doing nothing with
distinction
it.
of, you don't learn until you implement, right? So it's like
Period.
you consume information, but you don't really learn until you implement. So I hope that's a nugget for those who listening.
Oh, it is.
Like, just because you listen to a podcast, just because you buy the course, you ain't learned nothing if you go through it. You only learn when you implement. I ain't get that. I thought school told me knowledge was power, right? Just the consumption of knowledge. Applied knowledge is where the power is. So fast forward, I started getting really good at lead generation. People started reaching out to me, asking me what I teach them, what I was doing. And then it was like, would I coach them? And then I realized that coaching is a business. And I'm like, what you mean coach you? So I found that coaching is actually a whole industry in itself, $1 billion industry. So I jumped into that. We grew that coaching business to 5 figures a month. You know, back then the holy grail was to get to 10,000 a month. So I finally cracked that. $13,430.83 was my
Let's
first
go
5-figure
with
month.
the exact number. Let's get into
Yeah.
history.
100%. So I got through that. People want to know what I was doing, and then I started teaching people, and I started teaching other people, and they started getting results. And then I figured out that the biggest challenge business owners have is they don't know how to get clients. So most businesses go out of business because they don't know how to get clients. And of course, if you want to make a lot of money, you just solve a big problem or solve a lot of problems. So we decided the big problem that we solve is helping businesses get clients. So we created this company called Client Attraction University. And to date, we've helped our clients do over $1 billion in revenue applying our strategies. So that's the abridged version.
Woo! Man, that was a roller coaster in and of itself. And I think like so many takeaways, but number one, let's start here. Because I am not a big college advocate. And I am a huge education advocate, but formal education stresses me out. I find that so many more people go 5 figures in debt for the hopes and dreams of making 6 figures when there are so many courses and books and ebooks and YouTubes and webinars and podcasts that can teach you how to make that money a lot faster, a lot easier and living a happier life doing it. So
Bingo.
I say that to say, for you to have dropped out of school at 15, 16, and fast forward to having over $1 billion in results for clients and coaching people all over the world, like, that is just a mindset shift that I want people to like really notate. I'm not telling anybody to drop out of school, but I am telling them like there are just so many other ways to become a success than to dedicate your life to formal education, at a school named after a white man who probably had slaves.
Yep. Bingo.
I'm just saying.
I agree.
There's versatility in that. So don't sleep on that. And I love what you said about applied knowledge. Like so many people, they will read every book, they will take every course, and they don't take action. Like it's like analysis paralysis.
Yep. I agree. I think one thing I heard you say while we was at the mastermind, and you was talking to somebody else, and you was like, you said it a few times. You was like, people actually are scared to be successful. I'm paraphrasing it, but you was like, people are scared to be successful, and people are scared to make a lot of money. And I was like, that's spot on. I think more people are scared to actually have success, and I think than to actually fail. They're like, because they're worrying about, well, if I make a lot of money, what am I gonna do about taxes? If I make a lot of money, how are people gonna view me? If I make a lot of money, are people gonna
focus on the wrong things?
Yep.
Let's make the money first, okay? I promise y'all, and Mark Well can attest, Once you make the
Yeah.
money, you ain't got them other problems. You think that those
Yeah.
are problems until you actually get there. And even if they are problems, they're the best problems to have. Let's make the money. It's like, especially in our community, Black people feel like struggle is a part of the journey. Like it's a must have, and you can't,
Yeah.
you know, your relationship with God is weird if you are rich and all this other shit, which, you know, that'd be a whole separate episode. But
Yeah.
we are here to tell y'all today that money and success and wealth and abundance are good things. They can be achieved. Like nobody's smarter than you. They just work harder than you did, which means that you can do it too. What a
Bingo.
crazy story. When's your book coming out about this whole?
So it's interesting. So I wrote a book. So I got a book now called The Millionaire Expert. Right.
Okay.
It doesn't really share the whole story.
Okay.
And I'll get you the link to it. But and I send you a copy of it as well. So that doesn't really share the whole story. However, so last year, I think it was last year or early this year, I actually got an honorary doctorate. Right. So from there, I came up with. Yeah. So I think so it's
That
Dr.
is so
Marquel
dope.
Russell, right?
Get it?
Yeah.
Doctor, so you ain't tell me that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so freaking dope.
Yeah. So
What
I think
did
I'm gonna
you
do
speak
a
at their
book called-
school?
So a guy reached out to me. So one of the guys, he saw me. He's an African. He's from Nigeria, I think. He's in the internet space as well, but he also owns a university. It's called Higher Place University. Shout out to Dr. Uyi and Dr. Faith. So they actually own a software company as well.
Yeah.
So he used to see me in the internet space a lot. He saw me at this all white party that my guy David did. I think you know Dave. You know David Shan's The Real Social Proof podcast. Big podcast. So you should definitely check it out. If you like the EO Fire podcast, definitely check out David podcast, right?
Okay, we'll do.
It's like the EO Fire podcast, but more of us on it, right?
Okay,
And
perfect.
it's
Sounds
super
like
dope.
my type of vibe.
It's called the Social Proof podcast. Check him out. So I was at David's podcast. He did an all white event, right, for all the guests that's been on the show. It's kind of like, did you see when they did the Rock Nation brunch?
That I have seen, yes.
So
that
this
type
was
of
like
energy.
this was like the Rock Nation brunch for entrepreneurs.
Love
right?
it.
So so I'm there and I see Dr. Uyi. So everybody's there, like, because it's supposed to be like a dress to impress type of thing. So everybody got they suited, tailored.
Did you have on a book bag?
I didn't have the book bag on, but I had on shorts. I had on like a polo outfit, I had like a polo t-shirt, polo shorts, and like some white Air Force Ones. Right. So I walk in. I walk in. Everybody like, hey. My partner was like, man, how much money you got to get to just show up just however you want to dress? And I'm like, they said all white.
That was all you needed
It was
to
all
hear.
white. It was all white though. In my defense, it was all white. So I pulled up and me and Dr. Uyi talking. And he was like, man, where your suit at? And I'm like, dude, I don't got no suit or nothing, bro. And his wife was like, you knew Marquel wasn't gonna show up like dressed up. So me and him start talking, and he was like, man, you ain't pull up in no Lamborghini or no Bentley or no Phantom, and you ain't dressed a certain, you don't got all the ice on. He was like, why? And I'm like, that just ain't my style. And he was like, you never feel like, challenged or like you gotta do that? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nah, bro, I don't feel like I got nothing to prove. I got what I got. I got what I got, and I am who I am, regardless if you believe it or not, right? So, or regardless if I show you or not, it still is what it is. And he was like, huh? He was like, man, he didn't say weird. He was like, he said, I forgot the word he called me. But long story short, I didn't know he had a school. Mm-hmm. He messaged me a week later and was like, hey man, I love what you're doing in the marketplace and in the kingdom of God, and my school, Higher Place Christian University, we want to honor you with an honorary doctorate. And I'm like, what do you mean honor me? He was like, we want to give you an honorary doctorate. Now, here's the trip part. A few years ago, I told my business partner, Dre, because when I go speak at events, people are always tripping because they like, this dude got goals, he got tattoos, like he got a hoodie on in the backpack, who is this dude? And I could just always tell in their face, and it's always funny. But I told one of my partners, we was laughing one day, and I was like, hey, these folks gonna really trip out if I figure out how to get one of these honorary doctorates. And they introduced me as Dr. Marquel Russell.
It's the manifestation for me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So a couple years later, I get it. And I got that. So, well, I said all that to say, when I spoke at this event, because he had me speak when I got my doctorate. So I got this concept, and I think I'm gonna see if I can get a book deal around it. But I think I'm gonna call it From GED to PhD.
Oh, love it. With a little drug dealing in the middle. Look at God.
You know what I'm saying? What
a freaking story. I think from now on, you should be addressed as Dr. Marquel. Like, just
For sure.
come on
For
now.
sure.
We gotta claim
For sure.
these titles. That is a blessing
fact.
that you got. You need to introduce
It's a
me
fact.
to Buddy. Shout out to all my
got-
Nigerian listeners who probably know
I got
about
you.
this school. That's what it is. I think before we get too deep into the rest of this, I need to know what the Get Drunk cocktail of the week is. What do you sip on when you're doing $1 million day for your clients? What is the beverage of choice when you're enjoying the vibes?
So this probably gonna be crazy, right? Because I mean, and you was with me for a weekend, so you already know kind of how I roll. So number one, my beverage of choice. This probably gonna be like, what? My beverage of choice is spring water.
Lord.
Wait. My beverage of choice, my go-to is spring water. It got to be from the tap, right? It got to be bottled at the source. So I drink like 4 of these a day.
Fiji
right?
and Voss.
And let me say this. And my other go-to is like a green smoothie. So this is my green smoothie I had earlier today. However, because I made a challenge to myself. One of my challenges I made to myself, because normally I used to drink heavy, like I said, but then I got to the point where I would drink socially. Like when I go to masterminds or when I go to events, I'll have me a couple glasses of wine or something like that. But I know me, and I'm like, I got an obsessive personality. Right? I got an addictive personality. So if I drink one, I'm gonna have a couple. That's why I don't smoke weed no more. I can't. I know some of these cats, they can smoke weed and still do business.
Yeah, but you knew yourself, and knowing yourself is the most important part, right?
Bingo. So I'm like, I'm either all the way on or I'm off. So I was like, I'm off. So when I used to go to events and I used to have a drink or two, my go-to was like some Riesling or something like that. So something
light work.
I ain't finna get something light. You know, I ain't trying to get drunk and so I challenged myself this year. I was like, even socially, I'm not even gonna drink.
Okay.
Because there's a huge advantage of being the soberest person in the room.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't
You know what I'm saying?
more.
So and I always like the advantage. So if I'm the one in the room and I'm the soberest there and I ain't drunk nothing, regardless if you think how high your tolerance is, it's still a chemical, it's still a mind-altering drug. 100%. You still ain't all the way on point.
Listen, if you want to give us a green smoothie recipe for the Get Drunk cocktail of the week,
for sure.
then so be it, y'all. I'm gonna link to some kale and collard, flaxseed, banana, and pomegranate.
100%. So this one pretty basic. So this my go-to. I go to this spot called Arden's Garden. So they got so some people say like, why you don't just make them at home? I'm like, it just take too much time to make them at home and I can just pay for it. So this one it got spring water in it, spinach, bananas,
and it was dates, $17.
And hemp protein. It was like it'd be like $12, $13.
Rich, you know what? This is why we're on the show, y'all. Get Rich Crew, so that we can every day go buy $13 spring water green smoothie. Rich people problems. I love it. I will link the recipe in the show notes. I will link a NutriBullet so y'all can DIY this shit, because $12 a day ain't in the budget yet. But stay tuned. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I want to talk about the key to why coaches, because that's like, you take care of everybody in the online space, but I know that you have a special place in your heart and in your business for coaches. And I was watching one of these reels that you posted, and you said that most coaches never make over like $5,000 a month. Can you elaborate on that? Tell me like what type of coaches and why are they not making more than $5,000 a month? Like, coaching is such an intensive business. Like, how are they not making more money? And how can they make more money?
Great question. So most coaches, they still live in a time for money economy. So they're like an effort economy. So they're like, okay, I work an hour, I get paid an hour. But right now we actually live in an outcome economy. So people pay you for specific outcomes. So let's say, for example, most coaches, they come from a world of like, they have a degree, maybe they've been in corporate America, and in corporate America, they probably got paid, $40, $50 an hour, and that was decent money. So now they come into coaching, they like, well, I can double what I used to make, and I'll charge $100 an hour. But to be honest with you, you can't work that many hours. Even if you work 40 hours a week and you coach to 40 hours a week at $100 an hour, what's that? You still only make like $4,000. And you exhausted.
I was gonna say you are exhausted.
Yeah, you exhausted.
That amount of output.
That's amount of output. And you're coaching people. So not only is it output, but you take on people's stuff as well, right? So that's why I love coaches, because you gotta really care about somebody to be willing to be actually do that. So you take on a lot of stuff because they think that okay, it's only an hour, or it only takes me this long to help somebody do that, or this is simple to me. But people don't understand that your duh is somebody else's aha.
Facts.
And you make millions of dollars from your duh, right? But you got to just know how to package it up. So the transition into how you can't coach enough hours one-on-one charging $100 an hour or $200 an hour. But if you think, okay, outcome, and you think, all right, I coach people on a specific thing. I always get the same questions. I always walk them through the same process. So now you zoom out and say, okay, how can I unpack that? And now you just say, okay, step 1 is this, step number 2 is this, step number 3 is this, step number 4. So now you build a system around it. And now you can actually do a hybrid. So you can do like a modularized piece where they get access to the modules, right? And then like once a week, you have like a group coaching call where you jump on with them and answer their questions. And just by you adding that, now you actually help people get transformation. So now you go from charging $500 for your course to now charge, or $100 an hour for your coaching, to now charging $5,000, because not only do they get access to you, they get access to the modularized piece, and they get access to the community. And of course, you know how powerful the community is.
I definitely do. And I really love this. And I want the Get Rich crew to focus on this piece. We are charging based on the outcome. Like, write that down. Put that in the Bible somewhere. We are charging based on the transformation and the outcome of what you can help your person get. And I don't think that's just for coaches. That's for like all service providers. Like whatever it is you're doing for the person, what is that worth to them? What is that transformation? What is that before and after worth to them? If you go into business thinking that you just need to put an hour on yourself, an hourly rate on yourself, you're going to burn out so quickly. You're never going to be able to scale. You'll never be able to make the money you want to make. And that's cool. But this is the Get Rich crew. So we're all about doing the most and getting the most out of what we do. So I think that is a major, major key. We are charging based on the outcome. I love that. And then the thing about digital products, like I'm only 2 years into the digital product space, or like course creation and all that. And it has been life-changing. So to anybody who is an expert in anything, package that information and figure out how to put it in a digital space, because like you just said, you're just answering the same 5 questions over and over again anyway.
That's it. It's the best business model in the world. It's like you package your knowledge and expertise, you see people who you can help, and then you serve them. So now you can make a massive impact while making a massive, income and living while serving people. I mean, and it's super high margin, all that good stuff. So
all the good stuff. Come on, impact and income. We love to see it. We love to see it. Okay, another thing that you were talking to us about was we need to be building 3 different types of audiences. So like, where does one start? How do we figure out what audiences to build? Give me the scoop.
Great question. So it's 3 audiences you want to build. So I'm gonna give you the audiences, and I'm gonna circle back. So one audience you want to build is like your email list. Most people aren't building an email list, so you want to be building that email list. Number 2, you want to be building your social media audience, and number 3, you want to be building your pixel audience. Right. So let's break down.
See, I got the first 2.
Yep. The third one is key. I'm explaining.
That's why I went to Code of the Nice.
100%. So I'm gonna break all 3 of these down. So first of all, your
coach me, coach.
I got you. So the first one is your email list, right? So most people like, they got big social media followers. Like we consult with people, and they come to us and they got like 500,000, 1 million, 2 million people on Instagram.
And how many people on the email list?
They don't even have an email list. Some of them don't even have an email list.
That should be literally illegal. That is so dumb.
It's crazy. Even artists, like even music artists, they got 1, 2, 3 million followers on Instagram. But they don't got a link in the bio where people can go opt in. They sending people directly to Shopify. Spotify. They sending people directly to iTunes. What did they send people to a landing page first to get access to their most exclusive song? Then they opt in and became a lead.
I'm embarrassed for them. Get Rich crew, if you don't do nothing else from this episode, if you don't get you a damn email list, like 2-day ConvertKit wide open, like it's just no excuse for you not to be collecting emails. Like your Instagram could shut down tomorrow. Your TikTok could shut down tomorrow. You don't own them people. If you don't have a way to contact people that are interested in your business, you don't own a goddamn business. You wasting everybody's time.
Bingo.
I'm upset.
No, you're right. It's you see it all the time.
We get off the show, you got to tell me who these people are. We're not going to record that part.
Yeah, you see it all the time. So it's like, first of all, you got to build your list. You're like, okay, how do I build an email list? Well, think of something you can give away for free.
Yep.
That's of value. So, like for example, let's say you help moms get in better shape.
Mhm.
Let's say you may give away a 5-minute smoothie recipe, and they download this 5-minute, not messy smoothie recipe where they can make it on the go and it tastes good. So you give away that for free. Now they opt in, they become a lead, and now you sell them your fitness coaching or whatever the case may be. So that's one thing you want to be building that email list. Number two, and the ways to do it, you creating content. Like if you look at Asia's page, I mean, she got a lot of content. So it's like creating that content. I mean, that's the blueprint. Follow that. Create the content. Like the social media, like internet, it thrives off content. So if you ain't feeding the machine, like you missing it, right? So create content every day, and then you want to run ads. I highly recommend running ads because that's going to actually add gasoline to the fire, right? And that's going to bring me to my last one as well once I get to that. The second one you want to be building, we just talked about your social media audience. So how do you build your social media audience? Create content. Create content. People always ask like, well, how do I get on more podcasts? How do I get on more stages? It's like, create content. When you create content, people are going to see you and they're going to see that you have some expertise and they're going to want you to come on their platforms and talk about it. Some people are like, well, I just want to share my story. Whereas like, nobody cares about
share your story in the content.
Yeah, on content and then you're going to win because don't nobody care about your story until you win, right? Nobody wants to hear about your story of struggle until you
make it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm going to tell everybody how I'm struggling. No, you got to win first. This is how it is, right? And then you come on and then you share your story. So you build your social media audience. Pick one platform. I know these gurus tell you that you got to be on all of them. You don't got to be on all of them. Pick one. Then as you grow, then you can expand and then you hire people to run these other ones for you. That's number two. And then your pixel audience, when you run ads, this ad game is crazy. So it's a couple different pixel audiences you can
that's
do.
why I can't wait to learn it from you.
Look, it's nuts. So look, so let me show you something crazy. So let's say you upload a video and you run ads to it, right? You can, everybody who watches some of that video, regardless if they become a lead or not, they go into your pixel audience. So you can retarget people who just watched your video. Crazy. So that's number one. Number two, if somebody engaged with your Instagram, they're in your pixel audience now. So you can start retargeting them, meaning showing them ads. They become a part of your audience. If somebody send you a DM, you can start retargeting them. I'm going to say something else crazy. So I speak at this event this weekend in Vegas, and it's at the Mirage, right? So what we're doing is it's a big conference. So we're going to be running ads to everybody at the conference because we can choose target people who are at this specific location. So we can target them based on address. So we're going to be targeting everybody at the conference like, hey, I'm here. Make sure you stop by our booth. And I'm going to do another one. Make sure you come see me. I'm speaking Saturday at 10:45 in this particular room. Pull up. Here's why. Here's what you're going to get. Everybody engaged. Now, 3 to 4 days later, we can still retarget people who was at that location, right? So that's that pixel audience. And when you're building this email list, you can run ads to that email list. Anybody who goes to any of your pages, you start showing them retargeting ads. And some people are like, what was retargeting ad? Well, have you ever gone to a page and was about to buy something, but you didn't buy something, and now you start seeing those ads following you around the internet?
Of course.
That means you're in their pixel audience.
Love it.
So those are the three audiences you want to be building.
Major keys. I mean, I got to tell you, I've been collecting my pixel audience for ages. So it's Metro Booming. I just don't do nothing with it. You know, I'm all organic, but that's why I went to the mastermind. And trust me, Get Rich Crew, I'm finna start stalking y'all. So stay woke. I'm about to be following you around the internet. You're going to be clicking on Fashion Nova and I'm going to pop up. So get ready because it is coming, because this man is going to put us all on game. Get those lead magnets out. That is y'all homework assignment so you can start building that email list. That's the easiest, quickest way to start. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Now, in our mastermind, we talked a lot about funnels, and your funnel game is crazy. Okay. Like you got 4211 up, down, left, across, roundabout, from the left ways for people to tap in with you. Can you just give us a high level overview of what we should for sure be having in our funnels, and maybe a little little nugget that we don't have
Yeah.
that we need.
For sure. So I'm gonna give y'all like the simplest one. And then so like I'm gonna walk y'all through the same one that we give our clients, and that's helped produce that $1 billion in revenue.
Oh,
right.
yes,
And
that's
it's
the one
real
I want.
simple.
Grab a pen, y'all.
Yeah, grab a pen, please. And don't underestimate the simplicity. Because a lot of times people online, they make this stuff complicated
Harder than it
just
has
for
to
you
be.
to keep. Yeah, because if they make it complicated, then you got to keep
They want to
keep
sell
paying
you
them.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
got
dependent
it.
on them, right?
Got it.
So people preach independence, but they promote dependence based on their business model, right?
Come on, somebody.
Yeah. So here's a simple one. It's 4 pages, real simple, y'all, real simple, and they're basic. So number one, you want to have a landing page. We just talked about the lead magnet, and Asia gave y'all the homework already, so you already got that piece. So what are you going to give away for free of value? Some people say, well, Marquel, well, how do I not give away too much? Well, there's no such thing as giving away too much.
Exactly.
Give away the
You're an
information.
expert in your field. You can't be giving away too much. Ain't no way.
100%. You give away the information for free, and then you charge a premium for the implementation. So you give away the information, and then when they're ready to help, they want implementation, they pay you. So what can you give away for free? Something they can implement and get some results. Because they're going to be like, if this free stuff is this good, the paid stuff got to be amazing. So you give that away for free. They opt in, meaning they give you their name and email for this particular free gift. Okay. On that next page, you create this video. It's called a money content video. So this is where you teach them what you just told me you're going to get them. So I'm going to use the smoothie example again. So you say, okay, download my 5-minute recipe blueprint that's delicious and it's not messy and you can do it on the go. And it keeps you full, right? And feeling good or whatever. So now you opt in that video. Now it's like, hey, what's going on? Chris. And in this video, I'm going to show you my 5-minute recipe and I'm going to walk you through it and show you how simple it is. And I'm going to time myself. Let's go ahead and get into it. Then the timer pops up if you want to do cool with editing, but you don't got to do that. You put this in, you put this in, you put this in, blend it up, boom, good. This is a blender I recommend. Hey, if you're watching this and you want to know, you probably want to figure out how do you get in better shape. You probably either want to lose some body fat, want to shred up, summer goals, whatever, hot girl summer, whatever, right? We can actually help you with that, but one smoothie ain't going to be the trick because it's a whole system you got to have in place. Okay. If you want me to help you create a customized system for you, let's schedule a call, hop on the phone, and then put something together specifically for you. So go ahead and click the button below, schedule a call in that chat. So when they click on that button below, they're going to go over to an application page. So now people are going to apply to work with you. So they're going to put in their name, their social media, what do they currently do, how much do they currently make per month, what's their biggest challenges with whatever you help them with, what's their goals, how do they find you. They're going to complete this application. That's the 3rd page. And on the 4th page is the confirmation page. So just like, hey, congratulations on scheduling your call. Here's what I want you to do to get prepared for the call. Put your date and time on your calendar. If you need to speak to a spouse or anybody to help you make a decision, do that before the call or bring them to the call with you. And here's your homework to get you prepared for the call. And then now you have your emails going out because once they become on your list, they're going to be on your email list because only about 10% are going to schedule a call immediately. So you want to have them in the email follow-up, pushing them back to schedule a call. And now you just rinse and repeat that over and over and over again.
Phew. Like you said, simple, makes sense, seems like anybody can implement that no matter what business model that they have. And then once you get them on the phone, you can close those deals left and right.
Yep, 100%.
Oh, that was some game right there, y'all. I'm not a getter on the phoner personally. It's not my love language. I'm more of a webinar person. But I absolutely like this because I can see how it would make sense for people in different fields. Like it's not tied to one thing. But y'all, what I want you to see is you're giving them a freebie of value. You're giving them a teaser. And then you're following up. Like if you like this, you need this. Imagine the results you could have if you had XYZ thing.
For sure. And the cool thing is like, even if, let's say you're doing a webinar, the same thing applies. So it's like you opt in that video, you teach them something. And then that button, instead of having them apply to get on the phone, that button could be leading them to register for your webinar.
See, love it. It's just a small tweak.
It's the same thing. You just said one tweet. Yep, exactly. And it still becomes 4 pages, right? So it's like the opt-in page, they watch a video from you, click on the button, go to a page. The webinar page is the 3rd page. The 4th page is the confirmation page of the webinar page. So it's still just 4 pages.
So that's 4 pages for us beginners. Yours is like what, 17 pages?
Nah, so crazy enough, ours is still the same 4
Same
pages.
4
Like
pages.
literally what we teach, we do.
Get out, and you had $1 billion in client results. All right, y'all.
Yep.
You getting
Yep.
it here first. The end.
Mhm.
For those of us who do have sales funnels, who are already in the game, what are we doing wrong? Why are we not getting the types of results that somebody as successful as you is getting? What is a tip for those of us who are already in the sales funnel game?
The biggest thing is like not knowing your numbers. That's the common thing that I see over and over and over again. So it's like you don't know how much it costs you to get a client. You don't know how much it costs. You don't know your conversion rate on your funnel. So it's like if you got, all right, let's say you sell something low ticket on the front end, so like something for $47, $37. Like, what's your conversion rate on that page? Most people are going to say no. I mean, they don't know. And then you're going to say, okay, on the upsell, if they have an upsell, most of them don't. But if they do have an upsell for like $197, what's the conversion rate on that? They have no idea. So it's like, even if they're doing a webinar and they got on their webinar something for like $19.97 or $9.97, $14.97 or whatever, it's like, okay, what's your conversion rate on your webinar? Like, how many people buy? They don't know. What's the conversion rate on the landing page? They don't know. What's the show up rate? They don't know. What's the conversion rate to buy? Right. So it's like, how much does it cost you to get a client? They don't know. Right. And do you have something that they can buy after that? They don't. So it's like those things. The biggest thing is like not knowing their numbers. I mean, you can get to, you can get to $40,000, $50,000 a month, doing that and not knowing your numbers, right? However, if you want to get to that, yeah. So if you want to get to that 200,000, 300,000,
Right.
500,000, $1 million a month, it's math at that level. You want to go to 50,000 a month to $500,000 a month? It's just a math equation at that point. But if you want
Because
to
we got to figure out what our conversion rate is so that we can make
Bingo.
improvements
Yep.
at every single step in the funnel. I think that's major. And then all the software that we use, y'all, no matter what you use, it all will give you a conversion rate. It'll spit
Yep.
it out really easily at every step in the game. And for all my e-commerce people, directly on your Shopify dashboard, it'll give you a conversion rate. So don't be looking
Yep.
crazy telling me that you don't know what it is. I agree 100%. Your numbers are everything in the beginning, especially if you think you about to start running ads, because that's why so many people fail, because they don't even know, they don't know the reverse math of how this
Yeah.
is even making sense for their business. I think they just look at the bottom line number and they're like, all right, I made
Yeah.
enough money this month. Who cares
Absolutely.
that it's 18 holes in steps along the way?
Yep.
Then they got to
So if
hire
you
you
wanna
to
scale-
fix it.
Yep. If they want to scale, they got to know that. And so it's important to know those front end marketing and sales numbers. But I think a lot of people drop the ball on their financials as well. So it's like they don't know their financial numbers. They're like, well, I got some money in the bank account, I'm good. But they don't really know like how profitable are we? They're not allocating for taxes. So you see a lot of people who make a ton of money in this online world, and you like, oh, they killing it. And then a couple years go by, and it's like you don't see them no more. And it's like, what happened to them? Many cases, they had a tax bill that wiped them out because they didn't see that coming and they weren't running the business. A lot of people make the mistake of like looking at their business as an online business and not understanding that you're actually building a company. Online is just a medium of how you grow the company, but you're no different than a Fortune 500 company like Apple or Amazon. Like you got to know your financials. As you grow, you're going to build out a C-suite. All these different things are going to be in place, but a lot of people are just playing business and they only see this as an online business and not really understanding the magnitude of what it is. And you're going to have to pay some taxes or do your stuff right where you at least got to file taxes. But those things are important. But a lot of people get so far from that and they go from making no money to making $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 a month to making $100,000 to $200,000 a month.
And never
they ain't paid no
transition.
taxes. They ain't ran no numbers. They don't got no CPA. The same person who was doing their taxes when they had a job, still doing their taxes. And it's like, it's a mess. And now the IRS come knocking on your door and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
Dang, you got to send all the Lambos back. we don't want that get rich crew. Y'all know better. If the finances are not in order, then we all just out here wasting time. Like when you're on the side hustle level, when you're just making a few coins, that's a little different. But once we're ready to have big boy, big girl businesses, we have to get help. You have to outsource help. You have to find someone who is specialized in your industry. And then you might want to call somebody else when that's all said and done and have them check homeboy numbers.
Get a second
just to
set
make
of
sure
eyes.
that everybody got paid Absolutely.
100%.
Stack your money every single month because Uncle Sam gonna get his one way or the other, especially when y'all flexing on the internet. Because Uncle Sam gonna
Yep.
be like, "You told me you made $300,
Yep.
but the Lambo telling me a different
Yep.
story."
And don't be out here taking and don't be out here taking this internet financial advice. Like some people say, all this blanket advice, like go get an LLC. That may not be the best model for you.
For
Go
your
hire
business.
go hire a professional to guide you on what you should do. Some people say, well, hire your kids. That's gonna save you money on taxes. Or some people say, well, go do this. It's just all this Twitter, internet blanket advice. And a lot of that stuff
LLC
ain't
Twitter,
relevant.
that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go hire a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Hire a professional, and then it may cost you something on the front end, but it'll save you on the back end if you do it right.
Absolutely, it's worth every single penny, and we are building for longevity. I love that. I think this is the perfect time for a get rich tip. Even though you just gave us one, I think this is a perfect time. What should we be doing with our finances other than getting them good ass CPAs? What should we be doing with our coins so that we can hit, $12 a day smoothie levels?
I would say the biggest thing to be doing with your coins is investing into ads. Yeah. Investing in more ads, because think about it. So if you think about the funnel model, if you think about funnels, it's an up, down triangle. The first level is awareness. That's the top level. Then you got some people are going to become interested, some people are going to engage, and some people are going to become a client. If you want more people at get the client level, the obvious thing is you got to get more people at the top, the awareness. What's the fastest way to get to the awareness? It's like paying for the eyeballs. And then, especially with social media, like it's always something new. Instagram changing this. So they're affecting your reach. You got 100,000 people and you used to 50,000 of them seeing your stuff, but now you got 150 of them seeing your stuff. Like that'll affect your bag.
Mm-hmm.
But and because they want you to pay for the reach, right? So now when you understand that you're not at the mercy of these social media platforms changing the algorithms, you can actually pay for the eyeballs. And when you get in a place where you can profitably buy new clients and customers, you can literally scale your business at whatever rate you want to scale it.
That's the level I'm at next. That's what's coming up for me. So, guys, I'm taking this advice myself. Like, as y'all know, I built everything for Get Rich 100% organically. But if I want to get to that next level, I'm going to burn out trying to do it via social media. So I'm taking this advice too. I'm learning right along with y'all. We in this together.
Please.
It's giving Hebrew when I log into them back ends and be trying to figure it out. But I will not be giving up at all. And y'all feel free to DM Marquel your questions. Don't ask me. Ask him. Because all I'm going to do is send you to him anyway. Okay. Now I want to talk about your testimonial wall. Tommy was the one who mentioned this when we were at the mastermind. And this is how I knew you was teacher's pet, like officially, because they said that you had a wall of testimonials. I had to go look at it myself, and they are 100% right. How does one collect that many testimonials? What are you doing? I mean, other than providing them crazy, amazing, incredible results, what is the key for small businesses like myself? How do we get that many testimonials?
So, great question. So it's called the Wall of Proof. Some of y'all are like, what is this wall? It's called the Wall of Proof. You go to thewallofproof.com, you'll see it. It just it never stops, and we update it
never
every day.
Stops. I know. I've seen it.
Yeah. So to answer your question, so one of the things we do is we celebrate our client wins, right? So you'll never see me post online how much money I make. I ain't showing the merchant account. That ain't really my style. I come from a different world. I just kind of move a little different, right? So and also, people don't really care about how much money I make. They only care about how much I can help them and can I really help them, right? So it's kind of and I won't say it's corny, but it's just not my style doing that because I want to help people. So that's number one. And I ain't saying other people don't want to help people. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
My style is just different. Now, to answer your question though, one thing that we do is we changed our model. So it's two models, right? So if you look at the course model and then like a transformational hybrid type of model, you actually going to increase the amount of people who actually go through your process, right? And then if you increase the amount of people who go through your process, you're going to increase the amount of people who actually get results. So typically, if somebody buys a course, just a standalone course, let's just call it, let's say I was making a pitch in a room and I'm just selling the course, just to log in. About 10%, I'm going to just say 10%. It'll be higher, but I'm just going to use a simple number. But let's just say 10% buy the course.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 10% who buy the course, only 10% of those are actually going to ever even log in.
Facts.
Right?
As a course creator, I know that that's the truth.
Only 10% are going to log in.
Money and they don't even purchase it.
What? Exactly, because some people think that just by them buying, they've solved the problem, but you really haven't. Right? So it's like only 10%. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. 10% are going to log in. Out of those 10% that log in, most people going to log in. They're going to be like, whoa, this was way more work than I thought. Right? So, but it's like once you log in, only 10% of those are going to start going through the videos. Okay. Out of those 10% who are going to start going through the videos, only 10% of those are going to go through all of the videos. Mm-hmm. Out of those 10% who go through all the videos, only 10% are going to implement a little bit. Right. Out of those who implement a little bit, it's going to be another 10% who actually go through it and kill it, right? And become an agent, right? But that becomes like 1% or less than 1%. So if I had
100 people buy in, only one of those people is going to become a success story. Like that's just how the model is set up. That's what you're saying.
It's actually more of a 1 in 1,000.
Damn.
With a course. Yeah, it's actually more 1 in the who actually comes out and like kills it like you. Like you in 2 years, what you've built, like that's unheard of. Right? So because you're an executor.
Black unicorn for me.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's unheard of. Like you're an executor. Like and you've done it all organically. You don't got to tell me. I know you're an executor. And like you told me, like so it's like okay, you was like okay, I got this. I can follow this. I'm smart. I believe in myself. You know, I trust myself. And you've executed, and you see the fruits of it. Most people have all this other baggage, and they're not allowing themselves to actually do it. So now with the coaching piece, now it helps increase that number because now people are getting the support. They're answering the question. Not saying the model is better, but I'm just kind of giving an answer. So now you increase the amount of people who consume it, and if you can increase the amount of people who consume your information and actually follow it through, then you increase the amount of people who actually get results. And of course, now you increase the amount of people who actually give you a testimonial. Now, that's a lot of testimonials on the page, but it's a ton of people who we haven't even got a testimonial from.
Oh, I'm sure. And you know, that's exactly what I was thinking as I was watching it. I was like, so if you have 500 testimonials, that means that 95% of people still haven't even given you one. They have the same results, but some people, no matter what, they still won't give you a testimonial. Even if you make them millions of dollars, it just, they forget, they ain't got time, whatever. So that's exactly the way I saw it. Okay. So if 1 out of 1,000 will do testimonials in the course model, what would you say, like what number out of 1,000 would do testimonials when you have a hybrid model?
So I would say if you're in a hybrid model, I would say it'll probably be, you can probably, depend on how it's structured, right? Because some people just can't teach. So I think if you structure it right, I think you have the chance of at least 10x in it, right? Wow, probably more, right? But at least 10x if you can actually teach. Because some people are amazing at what they do, but they can't teach it. So being able to be a phenomenal entrepreneur and somebody who can teach it, that's a rare set of skills. So some people like they do something, they're amazing at it, but they can't really break it down and simplify it so other people can actually do it. They got a big following, they make a lot of money, they sell a whole bunch of the course, but people can't grab it because they don't really know how to break it down. So if you know how to teach it so other people get it, I think you can easily 10x or more, especially if you got all the right support components in place.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, y'all. If you see me having a whole coaching group, you know why. Because the biggest thing, advice from rich people.
Because the biggest thing you got to do is like figure out, even if you look at your program and you say, okay, where can I remove like creative burden from people? Mm-hmm. Like if you look at it like, hey, where can I remove the creative burden? Because all the creative burden, like the creative burden is basically like, what do they got to be creative? What do they got to think too much? What do they got to, all that creates friction.
That's what trips people up. Mm-hmm.
That's what trips people up. So if you like, okay, where can I templatize more of this? Can I get them instead of them doing this, can I just give them a template that I've already done where they can easily do it? Instead of them doing this, can I just give them this?
Yeah.
How can I make this more simple? Does this video really have to be here? Is this really necessary?
Mm-hmm. Love it. Okay, it's going to be some auditing going on around these parts of town. But friends, testimonials are so key. People want to see other real human beings that got results doing whatever it is you teach them how to do, whether you are a service-based business or a product-based business. There are so many free pieces of software that you can have automate the request for testimonials for your business, hop on the phone, ask somebody, send an email, use a screenshot, get a video testimonial, whatever you have to do, but ask them truly what their feedback is, and it'll be great, you know, information for you as a business owner and great for other people to see. And user generated content is so slept on. Like, you guys always ask me, you know, how I post 3 times a day. Well, 20% of that ain't me. It's my students. It's people who buy my merch, because y'all like to see that and it makes it easier for me. It's just a win-win. And give me like 2 years and I'm gonna have a wall like Marco. Give me some time, but I'm going to get me one of those, because that was beautiful. I will link it in the show notes for you guys so you can see it for yourselves. Okay, I got another question for you. What is CAU?
So CAU, so
the chain was icy, but I didn't get a chance to ask you about it. You probably got it tucked right now, but tell me what CAU is and how can I be down?
For sure. So CAU is it's Client Attraction University, and basically it's what I wish I had when I first started out. So it's basically, I always looked at, because like I said earlier, a lot of people, their business model and their job security isn't keeping people confused. So I was like, I want to create a one-stop shop.
That is so shady, Marco.
It is. It just is. I done been in a lot of these rooms. So I hear people say things like, just teach them enough to buy something from you.
Oh, no.
Or teach it in this way to confuse them. Teach it really fast. Because if you teach them really fast, they can't get it all. Now they gotta buy you. Like, I've been in these rooms. So when you go into a lot of these higher end masterminds, it's like, that's the model. It's like, you put them in a position.
Do you see?
Yeah, you put them in a position where they gotta buy.
Right.
So it's like, someone get them on a webinar and you just share stories and get them hyped up about the possibilities, and then pitch something that
with no real value.
Really teach. Yeah, it's cats who teach webinars who say, don't teach anything. They say, you're not selling anything because you're teaching too much. And it's like, what? So it's like, that's what they say, right? So I didn't want to do that. I want to go completely against the industry norm and give something where I can walk them through step by step how to fix the biggest problem they're going to have as an expert, and that's getting clients. So that's and it's not a course, it's like a whole experience. So it's a mixture of coaching and consulting and mastermind. And it's not only myself, but it's my entire team. And we like helping them with the whole process, like step by step by step. And once they're done, they got an automated client attraction system that's attracting clients every single day that pays them $3,000 to $10,000 or more. And this works for, we work obviously with some of the biggest names in the industry, but also we work with individuals who are like brand new. They come to us brand new. All they have is expertise. And then we help them package that up, turn it into an offer, and then start attracting clients for it. So it's a whole movement at this point.
I love it. That sounds massive, especially like that last piece of people can come to you when all they have is expertise. They don't know how to build a funnel. They don't know how to build a course. They don't have any background in that. They just have mastered what they know how to do. And then you guys can take it the rest of the way. I think that's super important to note. And like the best thing you can do as a new entrepreneur is stay in your zone of genius. Stop trying to learn every damn thing. There's not enough hours in the day. Get that support, get that help, invest in other people. Now go back and learn it, or have them teach you along the way. But don't take the time to think, okay, I've already mastered this. Now I got to go master freaking ConvertKit and email marketing and Shopify. It doesn't work that way. You're going to hold yourself back so much, and success loves speed. So if you can tap in with a movement, like you said, that is that big, has that great of results, and can take you from 0 to 60 so quickly, like that's something not to be missed. Of course, I will link CAU in the show notes, obviously. Okay, I got 2 more questions for you.
It's all good. Let's get
I'm sad that we almost at the end, but I got 2 more for you.
Let's get it.
What is the get rich read of the week? I was just watching your stories and you had posted like 14 different books. I just need one. I know you got one page a dayers, one chapter a dayers. Give me try hard to give me just one book for the people. What should we be reading, or what was a book that changed your life in your business?
I would say, and this is I think my most gifted book. We give all of our clients this book as well. I would say it's called The War of Art. So it's not
never heard of it. Tell me everything.
Yeah, so it's not The Art of War. It's The War of Art.
Okay.
The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It's a short read. If you get it on audio, it might be, I listen to a lot of audio, so it may be an hour or two on audio. But even in book, it's a short read. And basically it talks about resistance, right? And so the War of Art, so we're all, even entrepreneurs are artists, right? Music artists, artists who paint, we're all artists. So it talks about like the resistance. So a lot of the things that it's fear, but it's really like the resistance. And it really talks about that resistance and like how to overcome that resistance and how to deal with it to actually create the momentum. Because most people don't implement, they get the courses, they don't log in, they don't implement. And the biggest thing is because of that resistance. So he talks amazingly about it. And then most importantly, like how to overcome it.
I love it. I think that's a major key, especially piggybacking on the fact that you said 10% of people will even log on to participate in something that they have paid thousands of dollars for. So if this is going to teach us like how to remove that friction, I think it is an absolute must. I will link it in the show notes for you guys. And we're down to our last question, sadly, but there will be a part 2 because I want you to come on and teach us some ad stuff.
Let's do it.
What should I have asked you? What is a gem that I didn't even know that I should be asking you about? This is my favorite question too, because it always stumps y'all. But you don't know what you don't know. Question. So what?
That's true.
Is a nugget? What is a piece of expertise that I didn't even know I should be tapping into with you?
What does it really take to build a 7 or 8 figure business?
Oh yeah, this is good. Okay, perfect. Yes. What does it take, Marquel, to build a 7 or 8 figure business?
So it takes everything, right? It costs. So like, it's this quote that says, "Your new life is going to cost you your old life."
Facts.
Right. So it takes you literally becoming an entirely new person. So like, if you don't make $50,000 a month right now, that $50,000 a month isn't for you. It's for the person you have to become. You have to become a person who makes $50,000 a month. If you want to make $100,000 a month, you got to become the person to make I tell people all the time that you become a millionaire 2 to 3 years before you actually become a millionaire, like bank account balance. You got to become a millionaire here first. Then the money shows up. Like the money is just a byproduct of becoming that person. But a lot of people aren't willing to do that work. They think they can actually be who they are now, making, $100,000 a year to start making $100,000 a month. It's like, no, you got to become a whole new person. And it's a pain. It can be a painful transition because you're literally going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And that's a metamorphosis. And some people try to speed that process up. And you can't speed that process up because some people say, well, how long is it going to take me? Well,
that's the wrong question.
It depends on, you got to persist. It's a book, Og Mandino. He talks about you got to persist until you succeed. So for example, some people may see what Asia's built in 2 years and you may be judging yourself. You may be like, I've been doing this 5 years and I still work my job. Well, your metamorphosis just takes a little bit longer. But if you look back 5 years ago, I'm willing to bet that you've grown and you're better than you were 5 years ago.
Exponentially.
You just haven't got to your point. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it took Asia 2 years. Don't judge yourself based on that. Just get lost in the process. And if you get lost in the process, you'll get to the product and you'll realize once you get to the product, you'll realize the real game was in the process, right? Ooh. Because it's like, because I'm willing to bet. So if, let's say, for example, somebody is listening to me and their goal is $100,000 a month. Once you get to $100,000, once you get to $100,000 a month, there's a 99% chance that you're not even going to celebrate it. You're going to be like, all right, how do I get to 150? How do I get to 500,000? You was like, that was good, but how do I do 200,000?
Why are you calling me out like this? I feel attacked because you ain't never lied.
I'm telling you. So you're going to look back and it's really going to be the process because once you hit that goal, it ain't like the sky's going to part. People going to be treating you differently.
Once I made my first 10K in a month, literally
everything was the same.
I was like, I wonder how I could make 25. Like it just...
Exactly. 100%.
And I think it's a challenge for yourself. It's your inner ego. It's you're just so right. It is the process. It is the transformation. And I know that I am not showing up as my best self yet. And that's why I haven't made the money that I want to make. I know it. You're like 3,000,000% right. I have to work on becoming the woman that makes 100K a month in passive income. And then that money will show up faster than I know what to do with it.
Bingo. You attract it. When I made my first $10,000 a month, the $13,430.83, that's why I know it so well, because I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize it until like the next month was almost over with. And I just did some math for some reason. And I was like, oh, wow, I
actually hit that number.
I hit that number. And then like you said, now I was like, okay, how do I get to 25,000? Because one of my mentors used to always say, if I make 20,000 a month, that's a bad month for me. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I was always focused on the next thing. And a lot of times I didn't take the time to like, let me just feel this for a second. Yeah. Let me let this breathe.
We always chasing the next thing.
We always chasing the next thing. Yep.
That is major, y'all. We got to show up as the people who deserve and have earned the right to celebrate the thing that we want to have, no matter what that is for your life, your business. Like, baby, I want to have a hot girl summer. I got to show up at the gym every day. It's just
show up at the gym every day.
A equals B. I can't be in there
and not just show up at the gym, because I mean, when we were chatting, you don't just show up at the gym, but you show up with a trainer.
Sure do.
And your trainer is the real deal, just from what you was telling me. Some people will say, well, I'm gonna start going to the gym, but they go to the gym and they don't got no plan though.
Yeah, no plan.
Like you ain't never lost.
Looking crazy.
Yeah, they like, I want to lose 30 pounds. You ain't never lost 30 pounds before.
You ain't never lost 3, so I don't think you
don't know how to do it.
Teach yourself how to do it.
Yeah, you don't know how to do it. You're going to spend a year, 2-3 years trying to figure out how to lose it, and then you're going to get discouraged when you can just go hire somebody who specializes in helping people lose 30 pounds.
100%. Oh no. Did I lose you?
No, you back. You back. You froze up. You back.
Okay, no, we good. You're 100% right. Hire somebody who specializes in the thing. And I'm speaking for myself. Shout out to my strength coach who comes and yells at me 4 days a week. But baby, I'm finna be giving y'all Drea body energy this summer. I'm finna give y'all 100K months this summer. Marquel finna teach me how to make $500,000 a month this winter. So stay tuned. And you know, I think what people enjoy about my show is I talk about myself. I be telling them straight up, like, I ain't did this, that, or the third, but I'm working on it. I'm implementing. And that's why I have people on this show who I respect, who are smarter than me in certain areas, so that I can just absorb, because I don't know 0.1% of what I want to know in this world. And there are people who are willing, ready, and able to teach it to me, who look like me, who come from the same place I come from. So that's why I always tap in with guests like you. Whew. This was great. I knew it would be great. How can the people find you? I'm going to tag all your stuff in the show notes. But if they want to tap in with you, what is the best way to get down with Dr. Marquel?
For sure. So I got 2 ways. So number one, I got a gift. I come bearing gifts. So number one, I come bearing gifts. You got to show it with gifts, right? So first of all, I want to give you what I call a paid ad playbook. So the paid ad playbook, it shows you how to get 50 to 100 leads every single day that convert into clients. So if you go to
I need that.
Yeah, so just go to paid ad, PAID, playbook.com, paidadplaybook.com, and you can download it for 100% free. So that's number one. Number two, if you connect with me on Instagram, my Instagram is just my name, Marquel, MARQUEL, RUSSELL. Come tap in over there and then shoot me a DM and let me know that you was on the podcast. And I got another special gift for you just for connecting with me on Instagram. Yeah, so I come bearing gifts.
We love to see it. Thank you so much. See, Get Rich Crew. I look out for me. I look out for you. It's gang over here. It was such a pleasure to have you. Y'all, I'm going to tap in with him and see if he'll come back and teach us ads on another episode.
I'm here. Let's do it. Let's set it up.
Say less. For to send the link right now. I love y'all, and I will see you next week. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you've learned something amazing, let's continue the conversation. Follow me on Instagram at GetRichOrGetDrunkTrying and tell me what you took from today's show. Then tap in at GetRichOrGetDrunkTrying.com to get all the details and links from today's episode. I cannot wait to get rich with you next time. Until then, peace.